Hey, it's Lynn here. Welcome back to Lynn's Spotlight Daily. Paul Atreides, from Innocence to Destiny in Dune. Okay, let's talk about Paul Atreides for a sec. You know, the guy who went from being a teenager with cool visions and a few trust issues to, well, a galactic ruler with the fate of an entire planet on his shoulders. No pressure, right? And let's be real, Timothée Chalamet absolutely nailed this transformation. From innocent kid to a leader burdened by destiny, Paul's journey in Dune is one for the books. But what makes his portrayal so captivating? Grab your spice, and maybe a bucket of popcorn, because we're diving into it. In Dune, we first meet Paul as a young man with big questions and way too many dreams. Literally, the kid couldn't escape them. From the get-go, he's unsure of his place in the universe. I mean, can you blame him? He's got visions of a desert planet, an ancient prophecy, and this Fremen girl, Chani, haunting his every thought. If that doesn't scream I'm way in over my head, I don't know what does. But here's where Timothée really pulls us in. He makes Paul's confusion so relatable. We've all been that person, unsure of who we are, where we're headed, and what on Earth, or Arrakis, we're supposed to do with our lives. And Paul's not just figuring out high school or a career, oh no. He's figuring out how to save an entire planet. No biggie. Now, let's talk about those eyes. The first movie shows Paul with this mix of wonder, fear, and, honestly, a lot of why am I here moments. He's caught between what he's being told about his destiny and the chaos unfolding around him. And those dreams of Chani? They're not helping his already loaded teenage brain. We see Paul slowly start to grasp the weight of his family's legacy, and Timothée does this with just his gaze. It's like watching a person realize they're about to be handed the world's biggest responsibility. Okay, now let's dive deeper into Paul's growth. Oh, the growth. By Dune 2, he's no longer that uncertain kid we met in the first movie. He's starting to accept that he's the one. He's the chosen one. I mean, the whole Kwisatz Haderach thing is kind of a big deal, right? But here's the thing, this shift is subtle, and Timothée plays it beautifully. In Dune 1, Paul is still figuring out who he is and whether he even wants this crazy destiny. Fast forward to Dune 2, and it's a completely different Paul. He's accepting his fate, but not without the usual teenage angst. And that change is shown in his eyes. Remember when he faces Jamis, the Fremen warrior? Paul isn't just facing a fight for survival, he's learning the cost of leadership. He's realizing that to lead, to fulfill his destiny, it might mean sacrificing pieces of himself. And speaking of sacrifices, let's talk about that sandworm moment. The first time Paul sees the giant, terrifying, why did I even sign up for this sandworm? You see both awe and fear in his eyes. He's literally in awe of this creature, but also a little bit terrified because, well, it's a massive creature that could eat you for breakfast. Timothée nails the transition from innocent wonder to full-on this is my life now realization. So, what's next for Paul Atreides? Well, Dune 2 is about to go full throttle with this transformation. He's no longer just a reluctant heir. He's a guy who knows that the universe is about to get very, very complicated, and it all starts with him stepping into his leadership role. But that first fight, that first battle? Yeah, that's when things get real. When Paul steps into the arena and faces Jamis, the emotion that Timothée brings out is a mix of fear, hesitation, and determination. He knows he has to win, but that doesn't mean he's emotionally ready to kill someone. The stakes are higher than ever, and Chalamet portrays that inner conflict perfectly. You feel like Paul is being pulled in two directions, the boy he was, and the leader he's becoming. And the best part? Paul doesn't just become a hero overnight. This journey is messy, emotional, and deeply human. Timothée Chalamet brings this complexity to Paul, not just a hero on a mission, but a young man struggling with the reality of his future. It's easy to cheer for Paul Atreides because Chalamet makes him so relatable, despite the whole being the Messiah thing. So, if you're as captivated by Paul's journey as I am, and really, who isn't, hit the like button, share this with your fellow Dune fans, and subscribe to Lynn's Spotlight Daily for more deep dives into Timothée's incredible roles. We're just getting started with Dune, and trust me, there's a lot more to explore in this universe. Let's talk about his Paul Atreides journey, his emotional roller coaster, and maybe even more sandworms. See you in the next video, and stay tuned for all things Timothée.